The good news is the Cleveland Guardians haven't made an error yet, and they actually hit some left-handed pitching. The bad news is they're losing once again. We'll talk about what is ailing the Cleveland Guardians this time as they continue to find ways to not play well.
Tanner Bibee of the Guardians, and you're listening to Locked On Guardians.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome on into another Groundhog's Day episode of Locked On Guardians, where we will talk about your Cleveland Guardians for the next half hour. It is still our favorite half hour of the day because we are talking about the Cleveland Guardians, the majors, the minors, the draft, and everything in between. It's the only place you can get that every day of the week as part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, even when it's Groundhog's Day, and the Guardians continue to find ways to play bad baseball. I am Justin Lada.
They got enough runs today.
Yeah, they hit their magic number of 4, but yeah. I've watched a lot of bad baseball. I've watched a lot of good baseball, to be honest with you. I've been a Guardians fan since I was born, and I've been covering the minor league system since 2007. I've done prospect analysis, scouting reports, all kinds of things for multiple outlets in the Cleveland area, and I've met Jeff Ellis many years ago and didn't start joining him on the podcast until October 2022, but here we are, Jeff.
Here we are. For those who are curious, right now, Colin Manzardo is up. I believe it's a 2-2 count as we are recording. I am Jeff Ellis, one of your two hosts here, one of the original hosts Locked On brought on when they decided they wanted to talk about baseball. Before that, I was a longtime writer at Scout in 24/7, focused on prospects in the draft. I want to thank all of you for checking out today's show, making it a first listen, wherever it is that you get podcasts, as well as a big shout out to all of our everydayers. The one person didn't comment, so I can't give them their kudos today. So make sure to go ahead and comment so we can give you that shout out. But we appreciate all of our everydayers. Numbers have been good, even with the team being bad. So thank you all for sticking with us during these rough times.
Yes, absolutely. We need each other. The only way we're going to get through this is by getting through it together. On today's show, we'll talk about the college pitching group, who to look for in the draft for the Guardians. This is actually the strength of the draft, which should benefit the Guardians. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Jose making his way into team history with another all-star appearance. And then we'll talk about the inconsistencies that are hurting this team on the pitching end of things as we wrap up the end of today's loss to the Cubs. Before we get started on all of that stuff as the Guardians lose 5-4, today's episode of Locked On Guardians is brought to you by Game Time. Today, you can download the Game Time app, create an account, and use our code LOCKEDONMLB to get $20 off your first purchase. I would also want to use Game Time to save some money on Guardians tickets because, don't pay full price for the way things are going right now. Or you could use it to go buy, Clippers tickets, Rubber Ducks tickets, Captain. Sure, go to the Captain's game. You might see me. Maybe that'll be better. I don't know. Let's just get into this one here real quick so we can get into the fun stuff, which is Jose and, being part of team history and chasing team history in the draft, which, let's focus on the future here. Guardians did score 4 runs in this one, which is great. They
Three
did
home
3
runs.
home runs. Yeah, 3 solo home runs. And I will say from a pitching standpoint, that's what often the adage is. Solo home runs won't beat you. The Guardians worked 2 walks in this game. One didn't come to the 9th inning. The other one came earlier on, but they didn't work a whole lot of walks. They didn't see a lot of pitches. Again, Stephen Vogt continues to say about this team, well, we're just not making the pitchers work. Well, you have identified that that's the problem, but the problem hasn't been fixed. Now I realize it's not an overnight fix, but you know what the problem is, but there doesn't seem to be anything that's trending in the right direction from that standpoint. But hey, David Fry homered. Carlos Santana homered against the lefty. Lane Thomas homered against the lefty. The guys that you need in this lineup to hit left-handed pitching, which they have been able to do most of the year, actually worked out. You thought, that might be a good thing with Tanner Bibee on the mound today. That should be a good formula for success. Homer 3 times off Shota Imagnaga. Tanner Bibee on the mound, that should equal a win. And they didn't make an error. But the way things are going for
they
this
had
team
good
right
defensive
now,
plays. Honestly, the defense was a net positive today.
Yeah, they threw a runner out. Angel Martinez played a good second base. They did a lot of things well in this game, and unfortunately, Tanner had
was a rough game.
He basically had 1 bad, and actually it was 2 bad innings.
It was multiple bad innings.
Yeah, the second and third inning were just not good, and they just can't seem to put things together. Like the days that the pitching does well, there's no hitting and no defense. And today it was the hitting and defense that were solid, and the pitching wasn't good enough. Like, that's the way this team is going right now. They just can't seem to put all the phases together, and that's why they've lost 6 in a row.
Yeah, you look at it, it's the starting pitching's been great, but you really need on a day like today for starting pitcher to pick you up, right? Like it's been such a strong component. You have a 3-0 lead, and it just wasn't there. Tanner, he had a really
and he's
good,
the stopper. He's the ace. He's the guy
stopper.
Historically has been the guy to stop the bleeding, and it just wasn't his day. It wasn't
there. And like he had a great June, but like overall the numbers this year are not Tanner. He's not missing bats. He is not generating as much swing and chase. He is giving up home runs at a higher rate. He can't pitch on the road. Like that's the most interesting thing in his data is he only performs well at home. His road FIP is over 5. Like he cannot seem to pitch anywhere outside of Cleveland this year. And that's a big part of his problem is he is just not performing well, but he's walking guys at about the same rate as a year ago, but he's just not missing bats. And it's his FIP is well over 4 this year, as is his ERA.
It's the home runs.
Well, it's not just the home runs; it's the strikeout drop too. That's a big.
Well, yeah, those 2 things I think are related.
Yeah, and it's it's been a struggle.
I can't figure out, Jeff. We were talking off air. The thing I can't figure out is that he's running the highest ground ball rate of his career.
He is, and
guys are pulling the ball in the air the least amount they ever have in his 3 seasons in the majors. Yet his home run rate has never been higher. To me, that says
because guys are barreling more, they're hitting harder more, they're doing 4 different things.
You're not getting strikeouts. You're not,
and he's not putting guys away.
Yeah, when they don't have to chase, that's gonna happen.
Yeah. They can sit and wait on a good pitch.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I do think there's like a little bit of flukiness to it because it doesn't make sense to have the highest ground ball rate of your career.
Here's the other thing: he's almost
the highest home run rate of your career.
He's almost got the highest hit batter amount he's ever had in his whole career already, too. Like he's just.
And what did he hit 2 batters in the Cubs game in this one?
I think it's just 1, but he's hit 6 batters this year. Last year he had 8, and that was a career high. He's 6 at the midway point. That's part of the command not being there this year. His command is just not as sharp as it was in the past.
Yeah, that's probably the better way to look at it.
Thing.
It's not control because
it's command.
The difference in control and command for those who are wondering. Control is, you don't walk batters. That's great. Josh Tomlin had good command. But control is your ability to not walk batters, not hit batters. Command is the difference between putting it where you want to put it. And yeah, Tanner's walking batters the same as he always has for the most part. Like you say, he's hitting a few more batters, so maybe control has taken a little step back. But really, it's been the command. He is just not hitting the zone where he needs to.
Things are drifting on him. His last pitch of last season was a pitch that drifted in, and then it's like that pitch. Excuse me. That pitch against Stanton is almost in some ways like been the divide. This whole year has been that way. It's the pitches are drifting. They're going a little, he's not, he's a little further outside. So guys aren't chasing, or he's missing back in. Like it feels like most of his home runs are pitches that miss in, like that he ends up with a meatball over the plate. So it's command's just not as sharp, which is honestly control and command were 2 of his superpowers coming up through the minors. Like that's what made him stand out to me on top of having good stuff. So I don't know if it's like working with new pitches this year or what's going on there, but yeah, he's just, the command is not where it has been in years past.
No, it's not. I mean, the home runs, like he worked on some things. Like early on, he was getting jumped early by he's given up 4 home runs on his 4-seam fastball. I'm sorry, 5 home runs on his 4-seam fastball. So hitters were jumping him early in the season on the 4-seam fastball. So he had to stop throwing first pitch 4-seam fastballs to like start a game. So he's made that adjustment, but now it's just like you said, putting hitters away. It's small incremental things. Like there's just little bits of his game right now that have not carried over from a year ago, and all that's adding up to like all these results right now. So it's just a bunch of little things. But it's not just Tanner either. Like Jeff, you were looking it up. This team, this pitching staff, for as good as it was in the month of June, it's just everybody's walking. Everybody has that one inning too. Like Gavin Williams seems to have one bad inning to start. Luis Ortiz, Logan Allen, Slade Ciccone hasn't had a whole lot of starts. I don't know, but it just seems like everybody just has that one bad inning. It's a real bummer because Tanner's last 2 starts, 17 strikeouts, no walks, 14 innings. It looked like he was getting on a roll, and then this just was kind of a step back. And today's a game you should have won. Like, you scored 4 runs, you had a lefty at 3 home runs, you played good defense for a change, and Tanner, you had your ace on the mound. I mean, Imanaga's a good starter, don't get me wrong, but you scored 3 runs off him, and you ended up scoring a 4th run, so it should have had a chance to win. All right, we'll talk more about the offense here, and we'll talk more about Jose's place in history as he makes another All-Star game, and we're, of course, going to get to more college pitching. We will focus on the draft today. We do promise that. That is coming up next on today's Locked On Guardians. Well, we know summer is here, and you're probably waiting for one of those fun events. There's a lot going on in Cleveland. We've got concerts. We've got comedy shows. We've got one of the best theater districts in all of the country. So there's probably something out there you've been dying to see. There's live music as well. You want to make sure you are not dealing with the stress that comes with ticket shopping for any of those events. That is where Game Time can work for you. I've talked about it before. I've used Game Time for multiple things before. I've done it for birthday gifts. I've done it for Christmas gifts, to get tickets to Cavs games, to get tickets to comedy shows, concerts, and they make it faster and easier than ever. Prices drop closer to show times, so if you want to wait until the last minute to make a plan, maybe you not sure if you want to go see the Guardians lose a game, but you can still save up to 60% with killer last minute deals. So even if you do go, you're paying less to see that kind of stuff. Take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets, show tickets, sports tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create our account, use Lockdown MLB as your code for $20 off your first purchase. Terms supply, but again, create your account, redeem our code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices. That is a guarantee. The only things guaranteed in life are death, taxes, and frustrating Guardians baseball, and good tickets with Game Time. So that's always a good thing. All right. Let's talk about the bad part of the offense first, and the good part. The good part was, we said David Fry homered. That was good after Jeff decided to tell everybody he should be sent down. So David Fry can call Jeff and say thank you for the reverse jinx. Lane Thomas homered. Lane Thomas has been good since June. He's carrying that over. He had a homer and a walk in this game. So
he has reached base in 10 of the last 11 games.
I'm going to guess your 3 stars were Fry, Santana, and Thomas, right?
That would be correct. Santana, by the way, the 3rd Guardian this year to hit double digits in home runs. I believe he still has more than Josh Naylor has. Interesting side note on that.
Yeah, I'm sure that won't evoke any strong comments at all. So the offense wasn't the problem.
I'm just
today.
saying, like,
yeah, I know
he's not. It's just for fun. Thought I'd point that out. But
the problem in this game was Steven Kwan 0 for 4. He did have a sac fly in the 9th innings. José Ramírez 0 for 4. Who? What did you say, Jeff? He has 1 hit since he got hit by a pitch against Toronto.
None.
He has no hits.
Yes. Since he got hit, he has not reached base. I don't think he even has a walk. I can double check that, but
yeah,
I think
his average
his
average is dipped down to 301. His OPS is below 900.
But that's like the killer. Like, okay, so it's the 9th inning. You need your big guy. Now we'll talk all-stars in a bit, and like, if Kwan should be an all-star or not, but it's like you need Kwan to come up in that situation. I know he gets the sac fly. You need a hit. Yeah. It's like the same thing.
That would have forced
Nolan Jones. He only reached today because he got hit, and it's like he had an opportunity, and it was an expected batting average of 550. I think he leads the team in high expected batting average outs. Nolan Jones does. It's like they had opportunities, but I can't really, like I said, I can't put too much on the offense. And even the bullpen came out, and it was not pretty, but got it done.
There are 3 solo homers and a sac fly. Like, let's be realistic here too. It is 4 runs has been there.
You have struggled offensively. You get 3 runs on the board, and your pitcher hits a guy, walks a guy, and then gives up, runs that. Like, you needed Tanner to be solid in this one. You really needed him to be the guy for them instead of immediately giving up runs. Like, this is a team on the edge. They need their pitchers to step up when there is support, and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I love Tanner to death. And I think he's going to be fine. He was awesome in June. They got to figure out why he can't pitch on the road. I would be curious to look at his data now and see, did he only pitch at home in June? Is that why the numbers are so good?
Yeah, I don't know. No, because he had the complete game in Sacramento.
Yeah, so, it was a rough first, and then he settled in. But that's been his story. It's like 1 bad inning, and then he's settled in.
And
And
that's
I thought,
everybody.
okay,
It's
it's fine. He
everybody.
had his bad inning, and then unfortunately was the second one.
Yeah. And this team can't survive Jose and Kwan going 0 for 8 and then also have a 7-8-9 of Angel Martinez, Austin Hedges, and
Sorry, he had
Ryan
one walk
Rocchio.
in St. Louis. Jose did. He is, but
Okay.
he is 0 for his last 16 with a walk.
Yeah. But your 7-8-9 is punchless. Like Martinez is streaky and he's going through a bad stretch. Hedges, we know, can't hit. And then Rocchio did get a hit today, but like who cares? Like it's a single, and that's he was a AAA All-Star. So that 7-8-9 is not sustainable when you have Kwan and Jose. And we've talked about it before. Steven Kwan's OPS is like 900 when the Guardians win, and when they lose, his OPS is below 500 or 400 or 600.
And when this team was winning, you had one of Kwan or Jose that was hot, but the other thing was that at the start of the year, you had Gabby on that unbelievable heater. You had Angel on that unbelievable heater. Manzardo on the heater. And Manzardo's actually playing well of late.
He's been better. He's been better. So, he's been inconsistent, but it's like they just haven't, there's that consistency isn't there. That like they basically need 3 guys playing well, and then they have enough to get by. The unfortunate thing is Jose. That's not always happening.
Jose since the middle of the month since June 15th has seen his batting average drop 25 points. Basically, it's like he's not making contact. Kwan is well below 300 after his hot start, and
no rest for Jose because he's going to his 7th All-Star game.
Yep,
it's the 4th time he's starting in an All-Star game. He is 1 All-Star appearance away from tying the team record with 8, which was Bob Feller. So Jose continues to climb up team history charts. I love Jim Thome. Jim Thome is one of the biggest reasons I got into baseball, and he's my all-time favorite player. But I gotta start saying I think Jose Ramírez is the best Guardian I've ever seen in my lifetime, and some of that has to do with the fact that he stayed in Cleveland and Thome did not. But I gotta say, in my lifetime, I'm 36. Jose Ramírez is the best player I have ever seen in my lifetime.
It's Ronnie Belliard for me.
Ronnie Belliard. Well, I don't know. I wanted to go with Hector Luna, but I don't know why. I don't know why.
Rule 5 loss, Hector Luna.
I don't know why I pulled Hector Luna. I was thinking should I go Joe Inglet? I was thinking of Cord Phelps. I don't know why Hector Luna just came into my mind. I was like, all right, Hector
Rule
Luna.
5, they made a trade so that I think Houston could keep him, I believe. It was one of those many this team, Trevor Stephan, most successful Rule 5 pick ever, and it's not even close. There's a Scottish pitcher who I'm blanking on who's the second most successful one, and this team somehow has lost like 15 guys to the Rule 5. You can make an all-star team out of Rule 5 losses.
Yeah. But it's still fun for Jose to go and represent and start. Even though he's had a bad 2-week stretch here,
he's absolutely
by far the best third baseman in the American League. It wasn't even close.
There's not much there, though. Let's also be honest.
No, Rafael Devers got traded to the NL, and he was really a DH anyway. But the last time I checked the votes, I didn't check the final voting, but when I checked the end of the first phase of voting, he had 2 million. I think Alex Bregman had under 1 million. So he was.
Bregman's bounced around so much, so it's hard to say what is his position.
And I think he's also hurt too, so that didn't matter either. So I will say this, Jeff, because you're not an All-Star fan, and I am. The American League All-Star team is pitiful. Like Javi Baez is starting in the outfield, and Gleyber Torres and Ryan O'Hearn.
Gleyber Torres is the best second baseman this year, and he's earned it. It's second base is actually really bad across baseball. He is legitimate there. Javi Baez not so much, but Gleyber Torres
it's a low bar. It's a low
starting
bar.
Second baseman.
Jacob Wilson, Jacob Wilson's having a great year. Don't get me wrong, but he got the more votes than Bobby Witt, which is wild because he plays in Sacramento. I would not have guessed that. So I guess good for him, but also I'd rather see Bobby Witt just because I know how good he is. Yeah. Ryan O'Hearn and Javi Baez in the outfield. Steven Kwan didn't make it in the outfield. It was Riley Green, Javi Baez, which I don't agree with, even though he's having a great year. It's not, or having a bounce back year. The numbers aren't that impressive.
Jacob Wilson has a higher WRC plus by almost 20 points than Bobby Witt this year.
That's great. Points. I said this on the Squad Show. Go listen to MLB Squad Show on our channel. Get us some more views there. But I said I don't care. I want stars. I want the biggest names, and Bobby Witt should be in there. I want the big names, especially considering. Kansas City and Sacramento, I guess, are similar size markets. I don't know. But
Jacob Wilson's numbers are that of a star. He's a rookie star, rookie sensation.
Yeah, yes. Kwan probably will make it just based on usually the guys who finished in the finalists of voting usually get named reserves. I don't think it'll be anybody else. Class A is not going to make it. I don't think Cade Smith's going to make it, who is going on 10 days of not pitching.
Who's just going to spend 2 weeks not playing and the Guardians being down a roster spot.
He's just going to take, he's not going to pitch again until after the All-Star break, and he's going to take an ice bath the whole time. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's just going to be Ramirez and Kwan. Obviously no starting pitchers, and it's not going to be Class A this year unless the players vote him in, because the players and coaches vote on pitching. I would like to see changes. Go listen to MLB Squad Show if you want to hear my changes to the All-Star game. We come back, we're going to talk about the best thing the Guardians usually do, and that is develop college pitching. We'll talk about who is available in the draft, in the college pitching group, who we like, who to keep an eye on. Stay tuned.
Go look at old videos of this, of me doing Locked On Guardians. Look at my basement now. You'll see some dramatic changes that have occurred. And that's because, we do a lot of work on our house. And if you were someone who does work on your house, who does things in Supply House, is a place you got to know. Get the supplies you need from the site made for skilled trades. Supply House, whether you're into plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is a reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Again, well, it's for the skilled traders, and they have the Trade Master program. It is for everyone. Everyone can take advantage of Supply House. Go look up those first videos here. Look at what my basement looks now. You can see we spend a lot of time upgrading, making things better. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use the promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com.
Thank you for making Locked On Guardians your first listen today, every day, wherever you get podcasts. Of course, if you like what you're hearing, make sure you're auto-downloading on audio so you never miss an episode, including bonus shows like the MLB Squad Show. And click the bell on YouTube so you never miss a reaction video, you never miss an episode, reaction videos for games, breaking news, draft profiles, which Jeff will be doing, so all that kind of fun stuff. Also, if you like what you're hearing, consider being an insider at joinsubtext.com/LockedOnGuardians. Draft season's coming up. We're a little over a week away from the draft. Jeff and I will be live streaming.
Don't say that.
He's not ready. We'll be live streaming day 1 and day 2 together, and then Jeff will have day 3 as well.
Yep.
I'll comment, whatever. But if you want picks ahead of time, if you want some information, we'll be giving that to our insiders over on Subtext. So make sure you're joining that ahead of draft season. That's where we're going to give you the most value, is draft and trade season.
I've only got 55 profiles done, and I want to get at least to 75.
Well, you've got a week, so you're getting there. All right, let's start here, Jeff. I think we both believe that the strength of this draft class is college pitching. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Let's also put context to it. This is not a good draft class.
No, it's a bad draft class. But the past few years, college pitching has been atrocious. Like, it's been really, really bad in the last few classes. This is actually a good class. It is a really interesting class. I saw one person tweet out about this is a good high school class because so many of the good high schoolers didn't make it to college. And I was like, that's silly. That happens every year. Like, the best players never make it to college. Let's be very honest about that. That's what happens at every class. The reason, what's kind of interesting with some of this, honestly, too, is how much the transfer portal and some teams having NIL money is changing college baseball. College baseball had some degree of transfers, never the amount it's now. I mean, if you're Tennessee, you're going to get half your lineup from the transfer portal. Like, it's just
LSU.
It's, people are going crazy in the transfer portal. I was kind of surprised, honestly, that Evan Kula ended up at Georgia Tech. I thought he'd go to an even bigger program.
Jared Evan Kula, brother of Guardians minor leaguer Jonah Evan Kula.
I will say, with the pitching this year, I'm all about the short kings. That's where my favorite players are. I'm a short kings guy this year.
It is. There are a lot of pitchers in this class that are interesting in terms of height. Okay, let's start here. So, I want to ask you this too. Is this a good college pitching group because it's a bad class overall, or would this be a good college pitching group no matter what?
This would be a good one no matter what. I mean, it doesn't have the top end,
but there's depth.
But the depth is there. Like, I mean, go back to 2 years ago. I mean, Waldrop, I put in the 20s, and then there was like I didn't put a college arm. I had only 2 college arms who were like in my top 40 that year. Last year, I liked some sleeper guys, but again, the college, after you went through those initial, like Smith and Burns after them, that it was pretty, there was not a whole lot in the middle. There was a big drop. This year, there's a lot of super.
Well, you had Yesevich. You had Trey Yesevich.
You're right. There was Yesevich. I forgot about him, but this year it goes and goes and goes, and I feel like it has kind of those interesting arms that we typically have that we just haven't had in the past few years. So that is the one area I feel confident in this draft class. And that should benefit Cleveland in theory. And I'm going to count how many guys currently in my top 30 are college arms.
Well, the other question I'm going to ask you too is at 27, do we think there's a good chance for Cleveland to take a college pitcher at 27?
So I'm conflicted because I think there'll be some value there, but I think no. And the reason I say no is they don't do it a whole bunch. And
Gavin Williams, and we talked about this yesterday. Yeah. Gavin Williams, Alex White, and Drew Pomeranz was a lot higher, but
it's not been one of those areas they've gone to. They've, they go for a distinct type, and they often tend to go late. They do, and then in the second round they go for relief types if they go. For college,
or Burns, unfortunately. Yeah.
No, Burns was a comp pick. Actually, Logan Allen was around 2 that year, but Andrew Walters, Nick Sandlin.
Yeah.
Trying to think. I feel like there's one other guy, but I've got 8 guys in the top 30 who are college pitchers, maybe 9. I'd have to double check.
That's
but
pretty
the quick
good.
count was, so that says where it is. I think, what I talked about yesterday and we ran out of time is I just talking to a lot of people. Everyone's trying to cut deals. Everyone's cutting deals like they've never cut deals before. And I think the Guardians might be able to lie in wait and be surprised if someone slides down to them, if there's an interesting talent, or they can just kind of hold fort. I think for me, the dream scenario, honestly, is Bremner if he were to make it down there. I don't think that would
be a pipe dream.
Yeah, that's a few years ago I said Matt Shaw, and then last year in the comp round it was Ryan Walsh-Smith. So the upside is. For Tyler Bremner, he's going to be really good because every guy I make my pipe dream guy has ended up really overperforming in the minors.
Yeah.
So Bremner, I mean, I've got Bremner ahead of Liam Doyle. I'm going to be real honest. I know that's a hot take of hot takes.
But I agree with that because I think Doyle could be a reliever. That delivery scares me. I agree. So let's talk about a couple names real quick here. So, I mean, let's throw out Gage Wood because I know a lot of people have heard that. I know you do like the short Kings, but you said you're out on Gage Wood because the lack of track record and
health,
the injury history. Yeah,
he just hasn't pitched much, and the fastball is great. There's so much Cade Horton to that profile, both good and bad.
Cade Horton's not having a great year. By the way,
he's not. So it's all fastball.
The Guardians face today.
Yeah, the fastball just is not. Quite good enough for me right now. It's just that situation where I'm sorry, the fastball is good. The secondary offerings, there just isn't much. So you're betting on development, but he's not the only one. I mean, Patrick Forbes is kind of the same story, but the difference is that I feel like right now Gage Wood is going to go about 15 or 20 spots higher than Patrick Forbes. And they're both fastball health issue guys.
Yeah. I don't see a college, like you said, Tyler Bremner for sure. If he's there, if there was some scenario where he's there, I'd be very curious to see how that played out. And if it's money or if it's somebody scared of health, I don't know. But if Tyler Bremner isn't there at 27, I don't see a reason to go college pitching at 27. I just think there's just not a player there that I like at 27 besides Bremner in that group. But I know they've typically gone for relievers in the comp round in terms of college pitching. But they have 3 picks in the comp round, right? They have is it 3? Yeah, they picked 60.
Well, they got the second rounder and then 2 comp B picks.
Yeah, I'm sorry, second rounder. So they have almost 2 picks back to back in the comp round because of the Josh Naylor trade. I definitely want to get a college pitcher from this group out of maybe even 2 out of those 3 picks because there's guys like Anthony Eyanson from LSU who you could get there. I don't think Patrick Forbes makes it that far. Unfortunately, I do like him. Maybe Cade Obermueller is a guy in that range. Yeah, I know you think J.D. Thompson from Vanderbilt.
I'm big on J.D. Thompson. He's the guy I would like there.
Is he a comp guy or a 2 guy?
I think he could be. I like J.B. Middleton as well. He's my other short king pitcher. I think Middleton
That's the
is probably
Southern Miss kid, right?
Yeah, he's a Southern Miss kid. He's probably going to go in the somewhere between the end of the first round at the beginning of the second. JD Thompson is kind of a little bit all over the place because he's 6 foot even. He's a lefty. He doesn't have big velocity, but all the data is good. Like, he was good on the Cape. He has a ton of generates so much chase. The secondary pitches are developed. His worst pitch might be his fastball, but he's got some good deception. He's a small guy. He's 6 feet. And I went in being like, oh, I'm not gonna, because I'm just kind of out on Vanderbilt players because the track record's been so bad. But it's like when I look at him, I'm just like, changeups. He has my second favorite changeup right now behind Bremner's, and it's like a changeup is just about the perfect pitch. Like it's we talk about it. It's agnostic. It doesn't matter if you're righty or lefty. A changeup's going to get you out. So it's like that changeup's good. He's got just an advanced pitch mix. So in spite of myself, in spite of my concerns, I've talked him into being like, I've got Forbes like 2 spots ahead of him on my big board, and Middleton 1 spot behind. I've got them in the early 20s.
Deep. Yeah. I don't see Forbes getting that deep into the draft. I don't think you could take him at 27, but I also don't see him being there for Cleveland the next time they pick it, which is in the 60s. So I don't see that happening. That's why I said I think I'd like to grab.
Say that's the other thing is it kind of it's about bubbles, right? And it's like there's kind of that first grouping of bubbles, and there's another one. Then it kind of the second round is not going to be as strong, I think, for college arms. I've not written up a ton of guys that I'm like, ooh, like let's slot them here. Like it's not as interesting after that.
There's Thompson. Grouping. Yeah, you got Thompson, like you said, you liked him. I have a couple of guys that are lower than that. Like there's Obermueller. I like Joseph Deswara. He's probably more of a early day 3 guy, maybe, or late day 2.
I think late day 2.
Late day 2. But I like Joseph Deswara, who's an Ohio kid.
He makes sense in the comp round. Yeah.
Yeah, a big lefty with a changeup who can be a floor reliever. I don't know. The guy I think I'm biggest on for Cleveland is Anthony Eyanson from LSU. Like he doesn't. The problem is he's one of those guys doesn't have like a single standout pitch. The slider's really good. But the data overall in Eyanson is good. Like he gets chases, he doesn't walk guys, he misses bats. So, I think he's a guy who could be a mid-rotation guy, and at the very worst, he could be a reliever because he does have that wipeout slider. And I think he can see the fastball tick up and in the bullpen. So those are a couple of names to know for the draft in terms of college pitching for the Guardians. Obviously, we'll dig a lot deeper as we get closer to the draft. But we'll be back tomorrow. Jeff, tomorrow. We'll talk Guardians-Cubs game 3. We'll see if they can break this losing streak. And I think we'll also talk about what we want the team to look like in the second half. We'll talk about who should get majority of the playing time after the trading deadline, how things should look. So we'll dive into that a little bit more tomorrow.
I'll also throw out Michael Abarty from Tulane. Fun name to know. And my catcher to pay attention to for the week or daily trade target is Liam Hicks of Miami. Thank you all for joining us. Remember, rate and review, download daily. It helps. Do your part. Tell a friend. Hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment. And go Guardians, go.